Thanks, Denise. Meeting's called to order, 7 o'clock. Waste and Water Education, June 4, 26. We need the approval of the agenda, and there is 3 additional items. If you go down to 7D, Aqua, different issues regarding Aqua. E, Household Hazardous Waste Day in July. And F, landfill card for purchase. Yeah. Anything else for the agenda? Can I have an approval of the agenda tonight, please? Richard? John, thank you. Any further discussion? Anybody opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Okay, we have any declaration of pecuniary interest? Not seen any. Minutes from our May 7 meeting. Can I have a on the table, please? Brian?
I'll second it.
Rose? Any discussion on our minutes from our last meeting? None? Anybody opposed to accepting these minutes? That's carried. Thank you. Our delegations tonight, we have 3. Mr. Glanville on Zoom, I believe, is our first delegate. You have 10 minutes, Mr. Glanville. Go ahead.
Okay, this is referring to the drainage ditch behind my home and my business on Campbell Street. We've been there a couple of times already. The first time in 2008, we spoke to Mr. Perry Chatwell, and he said that it would only take a few minutes. It was no big deal, get it done. Now, he didn't complete the job. And when I took Ron through, I showed him that there's a 3-foot tile entering the place. And because there is no ditch beyond a certain point, it simply runs onto my place every time it rains, and not just spring and fall. Now, we did experience a significant springtime, and this flooded my whole property, including my sheds, my basement of my home, and right up to the back of my business. I talked to Ron, and I have dug test holes on my own property. Flat rock exists merely 3 feet down, and I asked that it be dug, completed from the point at which I showed Ron up until where they'd left off. The material doesn't really have to be taken away. It has to be put up as a berm to prevent this from continuing to happen. And also, the second part of this is someone has allowed the Ag Society, I guess it is, and Owen Legg in particular, to put a 18-inch tile in place of a 24-inch tile, which caused a significant backup, flooding Fire Hall Road from the fire hall about a kilometer back. Now, this water was 2 feet deep on the road at the lowest point, and on my property, it was about 4 feet deep. And the displacement and the destruction that it's causing is quite concerning to me. I'm asking for something very simple at the back. Just ditch the ditch down to flat bedrock, let the water go, and it'll pass through. But I guess in the past, in 2023, I watched as they stopped halfway through, and I called Denise and I said, "What's going on? Why are we stopping?" Well, she said that not too many people drive down this road, so they didn't really see a need to continue the ditch. But the water flow is very significant. It comes from miles around, and this ditch is just the same as any ditch, whether it be on Fire Hall Road or Campbell Street or even Blue Road, Sand Road. All those ditches are the same. This ditch would be very simple if the excavator was in place to scrape it down, berm it up, and allow the water to pass through. I I've requested that this be done. Now, I don't know why Perry changed his mind in the end. And I watched as men from the roads works committee stood around and finished the day out without doing any work. And it would have been a simple matter, as this is all beach sand underneath. It's very easy to dig through. There are no trees. We're not asking for a big job. Just simply continue on. I showed Ron where it would start and where to stop. We're talking 2, 3 hours with an excavator at the most. This is something that is budgeted for through the road's ongoing care. And this is a known ditch. This has been around since uh, I guess since the initial road was put through. In 1988, it was downloaded to the municipality from the province. I'm not asking for a big job. I'm just simply asking, could it be completed? Uh, I'm 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 tired of having washouts, and I'm tired of moving my stuff. I'm tired of being displaced. It's very simple. I showed Ron. I'm hoping that he's here in today's meeting, and he's aware of what I showed him. Now, as for regarding this 18-inch tile that was put in place, I don't understand who allowed this to be put in, but it was very insufficient. I'm seeing it back up. I'm seeing it fill with garbage, and I've been trying to pull the sticks and stumps out that seem to float into the mouth of the culvert. Basically, it's not sufficient. And I have many supporters who are here tonight that have witnessed that exact problem. And the flooding was so great that once it had filled my property, it filled the next property and flowed around all the way, washing out right to the highway and around behind the arena and then down. I have since walked and made sure that the ditch that goes right to the beach and onto the lake is not obstructed in any other place. If we let the water go, it will not affect anyone else. If we do not let the water go, it will continue to destroy my land, continuing to destroy my property, and continuing to displace me. It's quite frustrating to have to come back here for a third time. As I said, we were there in September of 2023, and I watched as guys stood around with an excavator shut off, and nothing, no work was being completed. And it would have been simple to carry on at that point. The machine was there, fueled up, and the guys were ready to work. What I'm going to say is maybe we should put one of your best excavator operators in place, dig this 3 feet deep and at least 2 buckets wide. So I'm talking maybe 4 feet wide. Berm it up so that the water has no place to go. And if we do a good job of this, we shouldn't have to revisit this issue again. If we don't do a good job of it, we will be revisiting this issue. I have searched online and I've found under Section 79 of the Ontario Drainage Act that it is negligence, not ditching it, and just simply stating that, no one drives down that road. Or at one point, Mayor Stevens said to me, my land is lower, so it's okay to let it flood out. But this is not the case. And the undersized tile also goes under Section 79 of the Drainage Act. Now, if the Ag Society wants to use this property, they're going to require a 3 foot tile to allow the water to go through. Now, I know that they asked permission to drop the 2 foot tile that was put in place 2023 September, and they were denied this. Now, Denise is aware of this having been an issue, and I don't know who to get to do it, but at some point it's going to have to be done because I can no longer take this water. It's destroying my property. It's destroying my way of life, in fact. And I'm not going to have more water flooding into my basement to the point where I have to get a pump, a gasoline powered pump, to try and remove the water from my basement. It just keeps coming in. It's a steady flow, and I cannot spare the extra time to keep moving my stuff. It's not a case of a small amount of water. We're talking this flooded out, like I said, a kilometer of Fire Hall Road. This displaced more than just myself. This displaced every resident on that road, including many who are here on Zoom and also in council chambers tonight. I would ask that Ron and I get together, and I'm actually, because we're expecting rain here shortly, I will be flooded out yet again. I'm thinking that this requires a sense of urgency. I'm not saying in the next couple days or even week, but over the next couple of weeks, I would like to meet with Ron and have an excavator in and dig that out. Like I said, down to flat bedrock. It's right there. It's very simple and easy to dig to, and berm it up and allow the water to go. And also, the flat bedrock is about 40 feet of elevation above the lake level. So in other words, if we dig it down there, it will dissipate. There is a benchmark, which is telling me elevation straight across from my shop. It is tagged and it is marked, and it's very visible, stating exactly what the elevation is. So if we dig it down, and I'm talking 300 feet long, approximately, where John Graham was digging and left off, and it was very quick and easy for him to do. There are no trees, no stumps in the way. It's just a simple matter of start trenching it, not scooping it out sideways, but actually trench it down to the flat bedrock. I was with
1 minute,
Ron,
Mr.
and we,
Glanville.
I'm sorry, I was cut
What,
off.
no, 1 minute to summarize.
Okay, what I'm asking for is that we ditch the ditch, Campbell Street. We're got to be 3 feet deep down to flat bedrock. Allow the water to go. Where it is not ditched, it simply finds an easier way to come straight onto me. As I said, Perry Chatwell didn't complete the job, and then now in 2023, again, the job was incomplete, and I keep getting stonewalled. But this is a very simple job. We're not looking for anything major, and it is actually in the budget for this to be completed, as it is a roads matter. And I'm not asking for Firewall Road to be dealt with. I'm simply asking for the ditch to be maintained. And if we dig it down and berm it up, this should be the last time that we need to visit this issue. And as
Thank
I
you, Mr. Glanville. It's 10 minutes. Thank you very much. Any questions to Mr. Glanville? Ron, I'd like you to weigh in and give your opinion, and also give us an orientation on that Campbell Road.
Well, again, it's a unmaintained road. And again, the ditching that went on there. Again, a summarization of to go any further, where we stopped was basically by guidance of, because it is an unmaintained road. But again, we can, the ditch that is there, if we go all the way up to the highway, will require removing more trees out of there again. If that is like when we did the ditching there, we already used the mulcher to get those, to get at it. But again, that's to maintain that road is we would have to go all the way up to I believe up to the highway, to the driveway entrance near the highway there.
could I remind you that it would not be
Excuse
necessary?
me, excuse me, your delegation is finished, but we've got questions that our committee may be addressing to you. Thank you. Brian,
Once we've listened to the other delegation, is it possible to put a couple of these pictures up so that we can all get familiar as to what Campbell Road is?
Denise has access to all of the pictures that we provided.
That's what I'm asking for.
So
Because
after the delegations, if you'd like, we can kind of have a little
That's fine.
silent section and put all the pictures up there.
that's what I'm asking for.
Okay, thank you.
anything further?
I'll have questions after delegates are done. I'll get some questions for Ron and that, so.
Okay. Any, Linda, Richard?
Won't go a whole hour until after.
Okay. Yeah, okay, our second delegation is Mr. and Mrs. Ferrier. Go ahead, you've got 10 minutes.
we're not gonna take 10 minutes, but I'd like to support Charlie in his comments. On May the 20th, Joyce and I, we sent a letter to our counselors, Derek, Stephen, and Brian Mitchell, and asking for support on the issue that we're not engineers, but water doesn't go uphill. Well, in our case, it did. It flooded our property to a point where it affected the foundation, to a point where water leaked into the basement. It's the first time it's ever happened, but this year it did happen. And that precipitated other questions. If it's going down that deep, and the reason, another way we know that is our sump pump was working every 2 minutes. The sump pump was going off, which meant that there was a lot of water down there. So we started asking ourselves questions as to how far down is it going to affect our well, our water, our drinking water? What is it going to do to our foundation? What about our septic system? Is it going to do anything with that? And then it stops us from doing anything on our property. I mean, it's a mud hole. That's exactly what it is. And what we're asking is that council, the Central Manitoulin, do something to get rid of that water. That's basically our demand. We're asking that politely. That's it. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Richard,
Just one question, Jack. Is this year the only year that you've had that problem? Like, how long have you been? Oh,
Since this is our 5th year.
sorry.
3 years ago, 2 years ago, we started having water, little puddles. And then we talked to the road superintendent at the time. And then last year, pretty well the same amount of water, but this year, it really came back and it flooded everything. We couldn't do gardening, we couldn't do anything. We were stuck on the high side. And our concern is the fact that we noticed our sump pump was going off like every 2 minutes. The pump was going and going. And that meant to us then that there was enough water there. It was going down and eventually it started coming into our basement. Okay, like we didn't need huge pumps because all we did use was our shop vac. But that was every day. Every day we had to clean up the basement. And now we have to repaint our basement floor. Like, I mean, it was that much for that long a period of time. About a couple of weeks. Anyway.
I just wanted the timeline there to
Yeah,
understand.
no, it's been getting progressively worse over the last 2-3 years. And this year, we really got hit.
any further questions? Okay, thank you very much. If you'd like to stay, we're going to have a discussion. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. And Mr. Black, you've got 10 minutes.
So first of all, Charlie, I agree totally with everything that you said. One thing I would add to it is that just south of Sand Road at the Rock Ridge, all of that drains down into your property from there. And it is well respected in common law. It is illegal for a municipality or the King's Highway under MTO or anyone else to send drainage off of a road into other people's property. And that's exactly what's occurring. So I would suggest you have a cause of action for nuisance or negligence, Charlie, if you wish to proceed with that. But again, I'm no lawyer. But that's, there's case law upon case law that supports your case. I have looked at the drainage, what it really needs is, if I can borrow that, coming from here, all the way from where the S bend is coming into Providence Bay, all the way down to the waterfront, that really needs a brand new drain. And property owners are able to petition it and cause the municipality to take notice of that and start to do that. So my presentation is as follows. It's not only the Providence Bay side, I'm also concerned about the Minnemoya side. John Morrison founded Minnemoya with its first building a general store in 1879. The first flood of Minnemoya building occurred short after and has continued on and off for the last 147 years. Floods are nothing new. In 700 BC, the Romans regularly experienced floods in Rome, Italy, going into the swamps all around Rome, especially in the area of the Roman Forum. Finally, the Romans had enough with the flood and the malaria mosquitoes from the swamp, so they began draining the swamps by installing systematic drains and sewers to carry away the bad water, such as the Cloaca Maxima, the Great Sewer, and aqueducts to bring in fresh water. 700 BC. If the Romans could do it properly 2,700 years ago, why can't Central Manitoulin get it right today? When a forest or cow pasture floods in the spring, it's just nature doing what comes naturally. However, man must have a sober second thought before he builds upon a floodplain. I suggest 147 years of flooding in Minnemoya is enough. Time is up. I sense the public is demanding a solution and are willing to pay the necessary price for the required public works. If done right, those necessary public works will be far cheaper than suffering another 147 years of flooding in Minnemoya every now and then. Now that the spring flood has subsided, shall we again turn a blind eye to this issue, go back to sleep, or wander off on other more interesting issues, then wait another 147 years before we finally solve this chronic problem? In Canada, flooding causes an average of $2 billion in structural damage to homes annually, making it the top natural disaster. Flooding is worse than fire for property loss. So if you're doing fire department, when flooding is 4 to 10 times worse, why don't you have flood mitigation department? It's illogical to do fire and not the other. Flooding poses a significant threat to over 1.5 million homeowners every year. 10% of homes in Canada are uninsurable for flooding. The most famous hurricane in Canadian history struck on October 15th, 1954, causing catastrophic flooding. Hurricane Hazel submerged low-lying lands from Etobicoke to Holland Marsh and left 81 people dead. No natural disaster since has led to such a high death toll in Canada. Subsequently, the Ontario Conservation Authority Act was modified. 7,200 acres of floodplain was identified for Ontario government to acquire flood prevention and control projects. For example, dams, spillways, erosion control, hazard lands, etc. Flooding near Walkerton water wells in May 2000 was the root cause of polluted city drinking water that destroyed the health of 2,300 people. I note that we had a boil water advisory. We escaped this time. Will we next time? Can we learn from the example of High Water Alberta and their 2013 flooding? 100 years of ineffective piecemeal design and inadequate municipal infrastructure in high water. Sound familiar? Were thrown out and replaced in the 3 years after the devastating flood. Why did it have to be after? It's always after. After the flood, whole areas of high water Alberta chosen by postal code, regardless of whether your house flooded or not, lost their flood insurance and or had to pay sky-high insurance premiums. The bank sent letters to people saying their homes were instantly devalued. So you bought the home for this, you mortgaged for 80% of that value. You got a letter from the bank that says, sorry, your home is only worth this now. And so 80% of that is here. So you have to pay that amount to the bank to drop your mortgage now, or we're gonna sell your house out from underneath you under power of sale. Thousands of people were killed and financially by that. And it's gonna happen here soon if you don't do something about this. Will it happen in Minnemoya? I note that in April 2026, Minnemoya had a boil water advisory. First due to equipment failure, then extended due to our flooding. Will adequate steps be taken now to prevent a repeat of Walkerton here in Minnemoya? Next flood, we may not be as lucky as the 2016 flood. More than 20 years ago, a proposal was investigated to install a drainage bypass around the north side of Minnemoya, but it was declined due to a $30 million price tag or thereabouts. I suggest with all the flood damage during the last 20 years, would have been easily paid for that entire project. If you bit the bullet back then, we would have avoided all of this. In 2011, Minnemoya commissioned a Citizens Advisory Committee on Drainage by council. Well done. A motion was passed to identify and protect the numerous sinkholes in Central Manitoulin that are essential for proper drainage in spring and heavy storm. Hares Creek was also identified as essential to keep fully cleared of all vegetation and debris. Under the Drainage Act, the municipality could declare Hares Creek to be a drain, which was recommended at that time. In my flood report here, 56 pages that I've quickly tried to put together to help guide you, is showing that there's photos proving that none of these mandatory essential priorities that were identified back in 2011 were done for the last 15 years. It's been abandoned. And here we get the flood because of that.
1 minute to summarize.
So what I'm suggesting, I've in here have a sketch. This is what I'm proposing is a new drain going to bypass from the home hardware directly to Lake Minnemoya, and a similar one for that will relieve Charlie and these dear folks from their problem as well as others. I had $1,000 repair bill on my vehicle from slowly driving through the big puddle at the front of Fire Hall Road this spring. So that's just one. There's millions of dollars damage here. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Black. Any questions for Mr. Black? Thank you very much to our delegates. Please stay. We will be discussing later in the meeting. We'll have discussion. Our road superintendent will be part of that conversation. So you're welcome to stay. Let's move on then. We've got our old business, 2 items, A and B, still in progress. New business, proposed tile drainage work permit application form. Rose, did you want to speak to that?
Yes.
Thank you.
And so with, in cooperation with Ron, we created a tile drainage works permit application. It would be a $0 application. The purpose of it is to track tile drainage works and to find out from people companies putting in tile drainage, what the size of tile drainage, a mapping of scope of what the work is going to be on the property, which ditches the water is going to flow into, how much water flow is anticipated. And there is online a tile drainage map program that you can get to. which works, but this will, for ongoing works, allow, the roads superintendent, the roads crew to know what's anticipated to come, and if the drainage works for our municipality can take the capacity that will be coming from the tunnel drainage that's being proposed. So we think it's just, like I said, as I said, we believe it's a good way to track and a good way to get information from farmers. Well, it's gonna be for farmers who are gonna be putting a lot of this in. Get information from farmers of what they anticipate and the type of works that they want to put into their property.
Brad,
I noticed on the application form, it had wetlands impacted by water control. Should we not be asking for an environmental impact on it?
Yeah, I think in my application process, there was also. Let's see.
It says wetlands here,
it is.
I don't see any for.
Oh, consider infrastructure, I meant to actually put in there, like I meant to put in that area, the approvals attached, environment, I meant to put environmental.
Good.
If necessary, because it's not gonna be necessary for each one.
No, unless they're gonna drain wetlands or whatever like that, then we may have one of those little turtles or something in there that. Then we'll have people throwing themselves in front of shovels.
I think the other concern as well is draining into wetlands and changing the,
Yep, okay.
changing how the
Makes
wet,
sense,
yeah.
Richard,
Yeah, I just wanted a little bit of clarification, and I don't know whether it's Ron or Sue, if Rosa would give it to us. You've got, at the top of the application, name of property owner.
Mhm.
And then you've got down about the middle, name of applicant. Who can actually make this request?
In this case, I'm thinking that the applicant could be a company, like such as Agri.
Contract.
A public contractor would do the application, but that would not be they would not be the landowner. That would also be in case of government or company owned. They might not be doing the application, might be whoever is doing the work for them would do the application.
But the property owner would be the one that initiates it.
Yeah, because they would hire a contractor.
Yeah, so it's really one and two.
And they would
right?
they would both be signed, like the landowner would have to sign off on the application anyways.
That's good, thanks.
anybody, yeah,
Be doubling up on anything that they already have to apply for now. They have to go through a process. There's a grant process for getting tile drainage and everything done, paperwork that needs to be done. We just adding another
The reason,
segment to
the
what they
reason,
gotta do.
the reason I brought this in is because with the 2026 budget, there's $7,000 to rectify drainage that does not have sufficient outlet, and it's happened over the last 2 years that it has gone into municipal drains that have not had sufficient outlet. And this is where I would like to know what's getting dumped into our roadside ditches without us knowing.
I'm just asking questions here, on, whether we're doubling up on anything that they already have to do it. No environmental assessments and everything else, so.
So I'm actually, again, just one of the contractors I'm dealing with, and he's very, very comfortable with this. He's had a look at this himself. It's nothing new to him. He's very, very aware of it. Again, one of our municipal landowners has as well, is very, very well, had looked at it and they're, agree with what's the purpose of it as well.
any further questions?
I did.
Yeah, go ahead, Rose.
Ron, did you want to say anything else? There's a couple of times I thought you were going to.
No,
No.
this is, and again, this is why with the, like I said, as with, Counselor Stevens, there's over the last 2 years, there's been a couple of drains that were identified. After the fact, or as they were doing the work, that they were getting, dumped into our roadside ditches. And it's not, there's not a sufficient outlet for it. That again leaves us, because once it gets, once the water is exited into our roadside ditch, does it become landowners' water become our problem at that point in time?
So then how do you fix that?
Well, and again, so with this application, if it is coming into our roadside ditch, then we have the ability to make sure that it has sufficient outlet in the process before it gets to a major waterway. Then we are well aware of it and can accommodate or make arrangements for it.
So the other question I have then for you, is everybody going to be upfront and apply for the permit, do you think?
So at this point, I would believe yes. I would, again, it's like, as it was mentioned with Rose, there's no monetary benefit to it. This is only to protect the taxpayers as well as the municipality from additional damage and costs and going forward.
And we'll also be sending this form to, and the information to Ontario Federation of Agriculture, who I think they also track the tile drainage. So they would be able to also tell the farmers that they deal with that this is that this application exists, and they would be approaching them about tile drainage as well. They having done this application, so we think that will also help get that information out there for them.
Go ahead, Linda.
Is this common practice down in southern Ontario, Ron?
Yes.
Brian.
As to Rose's comment about concealment, I don't know if she's ever seen tiling done, but it's hard to conceal the fact you're tiling a field, so.
Richard.
Yeah, just to congratulate both Rose and Ron for bringing this to our attention, because it makes sense that you have to have a stair-step process so that everybody that's involved knows what their responsibilities and duties are. This does that for you, and I just wish you to continue, and best of luck.
Anybody else? Yeah.
Question for Ron. How much of a part of this does MTO play with their drainage coming down the highway into Jack and Charlie's property?
So I haven't done any investigation essentially north of that unmaintained road where it meets the highway. Again, Rose was speaking about this other the provincial website for drainage, and this is where we have to do a little more investigating on the topographical of that area specifically. As mentioned with one of our delegates, there is some water in that field north, which would be south of Sand Road. There is a split in the way the water flows. Some of it does flow south, some of it does flow north. Where that point is specifically, I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, there is some topographical research to be done in that area of what is coming down from the fields, from the MTO, what the actual full catchment area would be for that, for that ditch.
So that'll all be included in what we go forward with.
Correct.
Thank you.
Anything further? Ron, you being the drainage engineer, will you be on site? Will you be sort of, I realize the company comes in, they laser, they put the tile in, but will you have any hands-on while they're doing it? Or you'll know where the exit drain is, obviously.
No, and just, I'm not engineer on any level, just want to make that clear, not engineering. So basically, this form and any of this would be, it's all previous or even before anything hits, like no shovel hits the dirt, until this would be, so it's all figured out, as far as the sufficient outlet, where, what size is coming out. And again, the GPSing of the machinery, like it's the engineer's report, or whatever, how they have the tiling and such, it's very impressive and straightforward. And again, the flows and stuff like that, which we can deal with then, to make sure that we have sufficient cross culverts, to deal with that water that would now be entering, our roadway ditch.
Thank you. Anything more?
This hasn't been accepted yet, or put on the floor?
Right. Yes, now is the time to, it's the form, it's the application. Does anybody like to,
I'll make a motion.
motion?
Yeah.
Brian,
John.
to accept that?
Yes.
John, seconder. Any further discussion?
Just wondering if we should just accept it preliminary until we get feedback then from agriculture and everybody else as to whether it needs more information in it or what, before we accept the form totally.
Would you like to amend that motion then? No, just to basically say that they're gonna provisionally accept it, based on waiting for.
If, Mr. Chair, if I can speak, there is one contractor that's kind of waiting for the outcome of tonight's meeting with this form. So again, one way or the other, just because they would like to proceed with their operations this summer. That's the only, again, whichever way he was in a kind of a timely manner, what they're expecting with this form.
Brian? Is that friendly? You want that an amendment? You want to stay with your motion?
I'll stick with my motion because, even if there's amendments coming down the pipes later on from different agencies, that can be added to this. We don't need to hold this form up. Because there's an adequate form. I gather this is basically a form for, that's come off of, somebody else who's using it.
It's kind of actually amalgamated through with it's a bunch of different forms that
Yeah,
I've
so-
found in it, and I kind of made it work
Yeah.
for our area.
It's got a lot of information, and even if it's, it needs a little bit more work, we can come back and revisit it. So I'll stay with my motion.
Richard?
Yeah, I'm just kind of agreeing with what Brian's saying, that it's about 90% of it, I'm sure, here. And we can make amendments or changes to it. And I understand that this is the season for doing the tile draining, and if somebody's waiting to get it done, the time is of essence, so I would support the application.
Derek, did you want to make an amendment?
No, I can't, I'm not on the committee, but,
Right.
I mean, it doesn't make any difference whether we have this form or not. Contractors can still proceed with their tile draining, whether we have this form or don't have this form, so.
Anything? Okay.
And truthfully, if I may add, this is for information only, so the municipality is more informed. So whether or not we have to add a couple boxes on there in terms of environmental or anything else, right now, this is just purpose for us tracking what's going on. So holding back the form is really no real benefit, to be honest.
Well, any further discussion? Anybody opposed to the motion of accepting this application form? That's carried, thank you. Okay, the curator report. What? You're on.
Yeah, so just some highlights from the report. This is for the past fall and winter, and then at the end, I'll go into some of the plans for this upcoming summer. So we did the Papa project again, we weren't able to add Providence Bay as a location. I did a loan with the Old Mill Heritage Center in Kangwon. They have a hockey exhibit that's open now, that's showing some of our items. We had our Centennial Manor visit, that went well also. A lot of the residents seem to really enjoy it, going through some of our artifacts. Some projects, we have the history room, so I'm working with the Providence Bay Spring Bay History Project. I'm kind of getting things started. Rose helped me with a lease and we're still working on it and gonna have it signed soon. By the Providence Bay Spring Bay History Project. And we also have volunteer Alex Barron. He presented his room design that he's currently working on, the new cabinets that are to go into the room. So I'm working on organizing all the artifacts that are in the history room currently and kind of going through everything and seeing what we want to display once the cabinets are ready. Then I also help the trail committee with their interpretive science project, some research and stuff like that. Also working on still clearing out some of the triplicate items that are in the museum. So we will be participating in the community yard sale again this year and using that as a fundraiser and also to kind of clear out some of those items that aren't necessary in our collection. Updating the tour script, it was previously written by CMHS and I just added some new things, some additional information, especially on some of the farm equipment that didn't have a lot of information previously and currently I sent it to CMHS and they sent back some edits, so I'm working on that right now and that's gonna be finalized in time for summer for the students. Updated some of the displays, made some new displays inside the Welcome Center. Did some professional development, a couple things there, and then upcoming, we're still working on the history room, like I said, working on a catalog of artifacts, and then also clearing out kind of some of the old furniture that's in there to make room for the cabinets and the plan that Alex presented. Also just getting ready for summer, interviewing students, working on hiring everybody that we need for the summer. A spring cleanup at the museum with CMHS. Just getting some projects and tasks ready for the summer students. Getting ready for summer student orientation, reviewing all of the student handbooks, and like I said, getting ready for the community yard sale. Those are my updates.
Thank you. Can we
Make a motion.
have a motion to accept
Yep.
report? Thank you, Rose. Richard, thank you. Any discussion? John?
Do we know how, Alex Barron's coming along with this cabinetry work?
I haven't had any updates from him recently, but he did ask me to clear out the old cabinets that were in the Discovery Center, and he's gonna use the materials from those old cabinets to help make some of the new ones.
Yeah.
And he's also working on purchasing, like, some of the other materials that he needs. But he's still just getting started.
I do know he was awful busy, towards the tail end of last month, getting his tax season stuff out.
Yeah.
So it might be a little delayed in that project.
Yeah.
Brian?
I thought you know what you did in your spare time.
You'll have to read it again then.
Excellent report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Anything else? Thank you very much. It was a nice detailed report. And obviously very busy, and I think probably getting busier. as
Yeah,
summer
Definitely,
approaches.
for sure.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Verbal report on the Fire Hall Road drainage. Who's got that? Ron?
So the Fire Hall Road drainage, so the work that was done on Fire Hall Road, as was mentioned with the delegate earlier, 2023, I believe it was, we were about halfway up on that Campbell Road. And so the first crossing culvert on Fire Hall Road, it has a 1% fall across it. It's a 16-inch corrugated steel pipe, 25 feet. And then it comes across again into the entrance, what I would say is a second entrance to the Ag Society. Again, I say the old motocross entrance or whatever there. And that is a 20-inch corrugated steel pipe. So with those, as they break down, the 16-inch corrugated steel, it flows at, again, this is all at 1% slope in ideal conditions. Now, that said and done, Some of that going across the Ag Society, it's not, it is less than 1/4%. Just because, and it always has been, the bedrock has always been the hindrance to having any reasonable amount of flow. Even when it was an open ditch there. So yeah, the 16-inch corrugated steel, it flows at 1,865 gallons per minute. The 20-inch flows at 3,382 gallons per minute. And the HD, or the high density polyethylene, which is the plastic pipe, it flows at 3,141 gallons per minute. Even though it is a reduced size, but it's the smooth wall of that high density plastic that makes the difference of the flow with that reduced size.
We just put up some pictures here for you.
Okay, yeah, of the reduced size culvert that goes across the Ag Society, or actually, I believe that's actually our road line there, sorry. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
So yeah, and overall, again, like I said, it's less than 1/4% on the main part of it, but it does fall off going towards the horse arena or horse riding area. It does fall off and gain slope again from there.
Okay,
I have a question, Chad. Who owns the property for that drainage?
That is on municipal right of way.
How did they get an 18-inch culvert in there? Apparently it was about a 24 at one time, or a larger culvert.
So the only culvert that was, because that was an open ditch,
Yes.
always going through there. The 20-inch was the one across the entrance at the second entrance at the Ag Society.
Okay. Do we know that if that 18-inch culvert is on grade? Because I was over there the other day, I don't know if you would have been there, but I noticed a lot of stagnant water in those holes.
So that's where unfortunately the problem comes in with, it's less than 1/4% of fall, like those, so it essentially doesn't have any head pressure to
Push it.
move it along, yeah. To push it. It's essentially flat, pretty much flat going across.
So how did we go from an open ditch to a closed ditch? Or what, it takes it, what, 4 years, 5 years? I don't remember. Of course, would it come to council anyway, or?
I'm not 100% sure if it actually did come to council or not. I believe there were some other plans that were circulated around that property.
That would be my question. I noticed that there's lots of brush piles, there's a lot of clearing going on there, on the ag property. And is any of that contributing to having that water pump? Would be my question. I do know that we're going back to normal winters. There wasn't a whole lot of water flowing 10 years ago, but now we've been snow quantities and rain quantities, and we're starting to get that flow again. There is significant water comes down the highway, into those properties. And, are we getting any backup now because of the ag project?
I myself have not seen any engineering reports to see what stats on water flow or how that is factually affecting everything else there. I haven't seen any engineered reports on how that would be affected there.
I'm trying to figure out solutions here. We usually watch fairly good flow down through the open ditch there, but now it seems to be restricted. So I just don't know what to do.
anything else?
I have no questions, man. Well, these two pictures that I'm for Maggie, you've seen them both?
Yes.
Okay, so to me, that's that is downstream of the fire.
Correct, yes, it is.
Okay, so that's right over that culvert, eh?
Yes, those, in those pictures, you can see that those pools, those holding ponds or those pools are flooded out, yes.
Now, without putting you on the spot. Do you think closing that culvert in like that? If you straighten the flow? I'm sorry, Ron.
Obviously, yes, the open ditch would flow more water than what those culverts are.
Sorry. No, no.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wondered, I just saw all that water there and I just wonder why it's not moving.
Ron, so why is the ditch closed? Honestly?
Again, I believe it's from other plans that are evolved around the property that, is behind.
Okay.
Behind, the arena and the Mon Ag Society.
So therefore they need to fix it, don't they?
I guess that would be,
Isn't that the solution?
I guess that would be for committee or council to go forth with that decision, how they want to deal with what's been installed there.
You're too much of a politician.
Well,
That's pretty good, eh?
if I may, Mr. Chair, I mean, even if we do continue the ditch and burn it, as Mr. Glenville's, suggesting, it's still gonna go there, I don't know. So I'm at a lot unless we blast the rock and drop the elevation going across the fairgrounds. It's our open road allowance, is the only way that you're going to make that water move any faster.
Well, and again, without seeing any engineered, but I believe those are comments that I have heard in the past as far as that in order for that to work better, it would have to be blasted rock.
Can't do that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Richard,
So we need an engineer to tell everybody what needs to be done rather than have everybody guessing what they think they should do and how it should be done.
May I,
just a second, Ron's answering.
The plans around that property, it would have been nice to see some engineered plans. And presented to council as to what was happening, what was fully happening and truly happening on that property and associated properties around it.
But do you really think what happened on that property is stopping the flow?
Absolutely.
The open ditch being covered in, yes, I believe that is affecting the water flow through, all the way through that property.
Okay. This process with the application would have solved a lot of that. It would have been all thought through and
Correct,
formalized before it started digging
correct,
or filling.
correct.
John,
so Ron has actually answered the question's already been asked. Do we need an engineer? And the answer to that question is yes. You need to hire an engineer to find out exactly what the problem is. And the work that the engineer might do will not be lost because it can carry forward into information. Per se, if the residents of the property owners around the area decide that they want a major or better drainage system than what we have. So it'll be up to the landowners to push forward to get the municipality to work on drainage and drainage easements and a plan to go forward. So to solve a problem right now with where the water is going, I believe you have money, Ron, in your budget for engineering. A surveyor would be able to tell you exactly what's going on. Give you the elevations. So that would solve part of the problem, not all.
Would want to solve all of them.
Well,
I don't think there's any money, in Ron's for engineering and that, he has engineering for project. I think the only way that we could actually proceed with this is, with a municipal grant application. And then we could get the engineering and everything done.
And
Brian?
I do agree with, most councilors here, but, the only problem is that it doesn't matter how you look at it. There's gonna be a lengthy time before, the engineering's done and a reaction to a problem, and we may end up going through another flooding. I think that Ron has identified the problem was that this is closed ditch. And I think because the municipality owns this property, and for some reason or other, it was covered. Don't know why. I think the least we can do is go in there and take that culvert out of there and open it up. So that if we do get another strong rainfall, at least the water has got somewhere to go. At least they may run on the rock, but at least it'll continue on its course down towards the lake. And then if we have to wait for an engineer report, then so be it, but at least we've got where the water, by the looks of the pictures, is being backed up. We've opened it up as much as we can, so.
If we, continue the ditch to there and berm it, as, Mr. Glenville says, that would stop it, any water from coming his way. I don't know how it would help the barriers. But, because it's still not getting away, so it's building back up. But is that an option to berm it?
The section of the unmaintained road behind Mr. Glanville's property. Any of the work that the municipality did do up until where we stopped, it does appear to be working as it's supposed to. To carry on to the north end of that, which would be again at the highway there. We could berm it up. It would hold water, but it would hold water both ways as well, is my only concern. Is that it might hold water both ways, like if there's anything that comes down off that unopened road allowance, it won't be allowed to get into the ditch as well. That's my only concern with that. To continue that on up to the wood, there is a bunch of overgrown, again, like we went so far with it, and that part of it is operating correctly.
Just trying to get a solution here.
Anything else?
So, Ron, what do you think of the Brian's idea of opening up that area?
Again, it is an unmaintained road allowance. But the line between unmaintained road and drainage, I guess I'll leave that up to where committee and council would like to draw that line. But it is overgrown in there. And we could, like I said, what we have previously finished in there is operating correctly. And from that north up to the highway is still overgrown and doesn't flow as freely.
Good question. Denise, are you listening?
I bet she's listening.
Of course I am.
Oh, why, thank you, Denise. With the work that was done on the agricultural property, was there any permissions given by the municipality for work to proceed? Whether it was filling in that ditch and putting in culvert or any of that?
No, there was no site plan given. Or that being said, there was no site plan requested either. The work was basically almost completed before we even knew that it was occurring.
Yeah. So then they should fix it. Is that not an like, is that not, if they didn't do anything before? Then they should have asked, and now, okay, it's not working, it's not whatever.
I think it would be beneficial moving forward if we were to request that they provide us a site plan to show the drainage across that property. And that way we can at least move forward with some topographical elevations that will help us see how the water moves through that property.
Back it up right there, that's where it stopped and starting to back up, so.
Ron, this spring, obviously, probably one of the 50-year high overland water, but the north end of that ag property, that was flooded across the road, was it?
Yes,
And then the tile drain that was smooth, that's taking as much volume as your steel culvert or more, it was taking it away, was it, down south?
so I honestly, I did not, I was unaware of how the situation was there. If I, on the south side of the horse ring, that road is washed out down there too. There's, again, some ongoing issues that are being dealt with that as well. But again, with the north end side of the Ag Society and even the lot, which is just which would be on the north side or the west side of this unopened road allowance, that swamp has been changed over the years as well and filled in. It would be nice to understand how outside forces have affected how the water is actually flowing down through that area. Again, from the highway right down through to even to the south side of and where it goes from there.
Right. My opinion is that we don't move so radically to make changes, but I do agree, an engineer would be helpful. Probably your ditching that you'd like to finish, that's up at the north end, right?
Correct, of the unopened road allowance, correct.
That would probably be very beneficial. We're into our dry season. We're looking at overland water flooding, probably, we're looking at that next spring when there's a thaw, big thaw, and this year it was just a perfect storm that happened with the ice and the snow and, but we never know when that's gonna come again, but we've got time. In my opinion, I don't agree that we tear that drain out right away before we get some information, some professional, you're a professional, I know, but that engineering professional, well,
I understand.
you're a drainage superintendent. You know a lot more about drainage than any of us.
And there's others that know a lot more than me too.
Well, that's okay, so I would like to get that opinion. I don't know how much it would cost our municipality to get that done, but I think it'd probably be well worth. But as far as tearing everything out and destroying everything, the answer might be it's working really well. Maybe we have to clean up mounds. I saw pictures of big mounds. I don't think it was on the Ag Society. I think it was up the road, big piles.
Yeah, no, that's the exercise property.
Okay, so and I agree with Denise, I think it's a good idea to get a site plan, elevations, drainage flow. That hasn't been done, and that would be a reasonable thing to ask the Ag Society to do. And maybe clean up some of the, in your opinion or the engineer's opinion, if there's blockages across the land, repair those. That's just my opinion. Yep.
Did I make a motion on that? That they site plan?
Go ahead.
Denise said it very well, so I'd like to see a site plan from the Agricultural Society. If that's possible,
On drainage, elevation.
everything. Just everything, even the trees being cut down.
Richard, I wonder, Rosa, if get a engineer in there so that we do it properly rather than do it in pieces. My thought is that if we get if we're gonna do it right, we will do it as a municipal drain, and then we're going to include all of the people in the area that it's affected. We're not just doing for one or two or three. And that's what I would like to see. I would like to see it done as a project that's going to be engineered and it's going to be itemized so that everybody's needs and requirements are met.
Then you make the motion.
I'll make it, yeah. It's what I think.
Can I say something for a second? The project you're looking at, Richard, I can guarantee you will easily top between $10,000 and $20,000. Currently, we don't have budgeted funds for that in this fiscal year. I understand the need to look at it as a whole project. But one of the things we need first is we need a site plan across the Ag Society property, because that is one of the areas that is of major concern. If we're talking about a municipal drain, which is then the quote unquote whole project that needs to have a petition process, because unless you want all of the landowners, like the full tax base to pay for the fix of this drain, then it all depends how council wants to divvy up the costs for this drain. You're looking at drainage for 4 or 5 property owners. Do you feel that the municipality as a whole, the tax base, needs to fund this? Or do you feel that the landowners that are going to benefit from this drainage project, should they not pay for it? That's up to council.
And historically, all of our other drains are paid for by the users of those drains. So anybody on the Minimum drain has to pay for that drainage.
That's why I'm saying it should be a municipal drain, so it's gonna affect the users and the people that need it in the area, which is Providence Bay. That's.
Why, Mr. Chair, I'd like to have a report from our drainage engineer. And I think that would take in a site plan on the agricultural property, and the whole bit would all have to be included in that. So that going to our drainage engineer is the first step in then whether we're gonna apply for a municipal drain and everything, so.
So we have a motion from Rose.
Just, okay, 2 motions. I still wanna see a site plan from the Agricultural Society. I don't want it with the other one. That one's separate.
That's your motion. That's your motion.
That to me is the most important one, because I don't want to see any more work done on that property unless there is a site plan.
Do we have a seconder on that? Yeah. John? Second. Any further discussion? Anybody opposed to having the Agriculture Society supply a site plan with elevations and water flow on that property?
We put a timeline on that,
Yes.
please.
Do you want to amend your motion?
Well, timeline, or I can put a date on it, or a time. What are you thinking, Brian? As soon as
60
possible?
days seems to be a fun number, 60 days.
May I recommend that we say, do that by the August, WWE, that gets us through the month of June, through the month of July,
All right,
back here for August.
Yeah.
Are you-
Are you good?
August, yeah.
You good?
Does that mean no work being done on it until we have a site plan?
Do we have the authority to stop work?
I don't know. Do we, Ron?
I'm not 100% sure on private property.
John?
I think I can answer that. No, they don't. We don't. And that's according to Raymond, because we ran across this before.
Okay.
Raymond says we do not have any jurisdiction, but the issue being with the Ag Society and the piece of property, they are causing a change in the flow of water. So
That's not proven, sir.
it's,
Okay, let's not,
That's why we need that engineer.
You need the engineer.
Yeah.
not go down any more rabbit holes.
Okay, so a date, sure, whatever date, August, and then, another motion for the other one.
Yeah.
So,
The other one was getting the engineer report.
First, this motion, anybody opposed? Carried. Second motion, who's got that? Richard, engineering. What would you like to say?
Well, I just think that we're gonna move towards a municipal ditch, then we have to have the engineering and including what Rose has already asked for. And all the other participants that would be involved in that drainage situation.
And I will second that.
only, so we have money for, will we using money?
Oh, we apparently, we have, the municipality has lots of money.
Yeah, right.
I don't wanna stop because we
Hey, I
don't have money.
What's that? We got lots of money.
Sure.
That's it.
Just,
We're not short of money.
I mean, if we do go for a municipal drain, there's a whole grant process and everything that goes along with it. It's a drawn out procedure, but it can be done, but I think first we gotta start with the engineers.
Now, from a budgetary perspective, do we have this $20,000 or so that we need for this engineering report budgeted? No. That being said, over the course of a year, certain things will fall off and certain things will happen. I'm pretty sure we'll find the 20,000 between the cushions of the seat, and that'll be there.
Russ saved lots of money already, contracts and stuff already.
Just for clarification, you're talking with municipal drain, where exactly will that drain be? Does anybody, we're just waiting for the
The
engineer.
engineer will just find what the area is and a little bit of where that water's coming from.
Whether it's on service road or not. Yeah.
It's basically from that hill before you get to Sand Road and then south to the lake.
So that's why we need that report, to find out where that water's coming from.
Have we passed that? Just a second, have we passed
Yes,
the engineer?
yes, I believe that was Richard and Rose.
so should
Richard
the,
Ryan, sorry.
should the adjoining property owners petition the municipality for a drainage plan and drainage for the area? Because that would be part of the agreement that would have to be put together if you go point of providing a drainage through the drainage act. You'd have to know parties that want to be involved in it. So do they need to petition? Ron, can you answer that?
Again, that would be, so if this is the steps that we're aiming towards is a official petition. Then yeah, we're gonna need, I believe once it comes in, I believe it's 50% of the landowners or 60% of the land area. And then it's introduced to the engineer or council approves it as a petition and then it goes to the engineer. So again, that would be on that form, we would have to have the a majority vote of the landowners or land area that would want to petition the proper municipal drain.
So, sorry, just a quick question. So if anybody wanted to tile their fields, that would be tied into this then too, eh?
So again, that would be additionally, like if you're talking about in the future, then yes, that would be, again, when you start with a municipal drain, which again would be your sufficient outlet. And then so if the agricultural drainage ended up going into that municipal drain, that would be something that would have to be studied again to make sure that it is sufficient to handle the additional water.
Thank you.
Anything further? That was carried, the engineer motion,
Both motions were carried.
both motions carried. Okay, just a comment, we heard some talk about common law. Surface water has no defined course. The water that falls as precipitation, but which finds its way to a natural water course by percolation or flow. Common law can be confusing when it comes to surface water because under most circumstances, it has no right of drainage. And the law appears to deny the right of water to flow downhill. So that's overland water. It's much different than percolating rainwater in the ground. So just remember that. Okay, shall we move on? Aqua issues. Go ahead.
Yes, we had a gentleman from Aqua come by our office today, and he said we were able to down have a chat with him, and we discussed several different issues. The first issue that we spoke of, and I'd like to bring it up as one of our delegates spoke to tonight, had to do with the fact that we had that water advisory. The water advisory was very circumstantial in terms of when it happened in relation to the flood, but it happened that it was a blown gasket that was discovered on the Sunday. We handed out water at the municipal office Sunday night, put out advisories to anybody affected. 2 days later on the Tuesday, the flood happened, and just as we were getting ready to lift the advisory after having 2 clean tests, which we had, they said that now that the water is flowing over land, they're gonna have to, they're not gonna take it off because they're gonna have to put it back on again because we had water flowing over land. So that was the reason. I just want to clarify that the two were not related, just happenstance that it happened at the same date approximately. Okay. Other Aqua news. They confirmed a leak over by the Robin Scrub over there, and I believe they were talking to you, Ron, about getting MTO permission for a dig.
Yes, we're just waiting for MTO permission to not so much we have permission already, but again, it's the crossing the highway. If the need arises that we actually have to put a new service line or new main across to the main line, which would be essentially closing the highway to get across, just waiting for confirmation from MTO about that.
We just had a leak there not that long ago.
I think it was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
I was informed it's the third such leak in that location.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Okay, other items. Aqua, their initial purpose for coming today was basically the fact that they're gonna be doing some line flushing. So that means the water will be discolored for the next couple of days, but you just turn on your tap for 5-6 minutes. It'll clear itself out. The water is safe to drink. There's no harm with it. Just case of line flushing. They do this fairly regularly. We were updated the fact that this week they finished doing their line project where they dropped the line and they finally buried the line, or it was floating. They don't know if they buried it or anchored it or exactly how you want to phrase it, but they dealt with it, finished dealing with it this week. We did a water flow test at the last hydrant by going towards the roads building in order to test it to see whether or not we had sufficient water pressure for our upcoming road shed. It did not pass the water test, the flow test. We realized that there was a problem with the pump. They ordered parts. They're going to be repairing that pump, and then once that's done, we'll have another flow test done. So we realized that there was a deficiency with the pump and it's getting fixed. So that's your Aqua news.
Hazardous waste day in July.
That will be done on Saturday, July 11th from 1 to 4. I believe that Mimi is doing their normal morning session, and then their GFL folk will be coming in the afternoon. Any council, please feel free to contact Rose if you wish to volunteer. She'll be keeping a sheet on that. Any other questions on that?
Okay. Landfill card.
Okay, So I gave you all a landfill card, you got it there? Can I see, Derek, can I see your card, please?
No, what card? I just got my phone.
Yeah, work it over. Okay, for those in attendance. Each of these cards have 20 $10 slots in it. And it's like the old system where you took your coffee card in and got the hole punch in your coffee card. Back 10 years ago, 15 years ago. We're doing this to eliminate cash at the landfill stations and transfer stations. So basically, now you just come to the office, or you can contact the office and we'll mail you the card if you live out of town. You get these cards here first, buy bag tags here, so there's no cash at all at the landfill transfer stations. All transactions done at the main office here. And we will get you the stuff, the either bag tags or a landfill card. And those business as normal, they measure your load and say it's $60 or whatever it is. Instead of paying $60 cash, 6 hole punches get done and you're on your way. And it's just a way of making things simpler from a cash perspective, making sure things are easier from a cash handling perspective and from an accounting perspective. There's no actual change in policy or anything else.
Thank you. Any questions on those items? Yes.
The cards, and one day I got 3 phone calls asking who thought this up. And they weren't very positive. So they said, if I'm coming in from down south or whatever, as I'm a weekender, now I gotta figure out and make sure I've got cards on me or whatever like that.
Same way they figured out how to pay their taxes in February.
Yeah, so
I mean, they can pay by phone and I can mail out the cards.
that works, is this has got more holes than you're punching, so. So
We're not the
they
first
don't,
municipality to figure
not
this.
one of them was happy with what they read, so.
Are you sending out an explanation with the tax bill in the fall?
We'll do it as of August, yeah. For the tax billing August, it's been on our website since, I'm gonna say a couple weeks back now. Give or take, maybe 2 weeks, maybe a week, I'm not sure. It's been posted on our website. Tried to get enough notice so that as of July 1st, people are aware. Signage has been put up, I believe signage has been put up.
Yes, correct.
Has been put up at both the transfer station sites. So that anyone who goes to the transfer station regularly is seeing it, and I've asked the landfill attendants to be spreading the word to people who go to the site.
Rose?
Good job.
Thank you.
And you know what? To the complainers, it's very simple. See all the hours on the back? Or if you can't, you know what? Get your garbage picked up. That's where the big cost is.
Some of them are lazy.
Richard, did you have something?
Yeah, well, I just think it's a good move that cash has always been a problem, and we've got staff down at the transfer station there that will have time and ability to make time when they're all rushed their feet off, so I think this is a system that'll work its way through. And I am curious, Adam, on all the 2 weeks that it's been in place, have you had any calls or the office had any?
I've had, happenstance having people come into the office on separate issues, say, oh, by the way, about their card system. Once they found out that, you know, nothing's changing in terms of the cost of them. That's what they were concerned about how it's affecting them in the pocketbook. And really, so you just have to buy the card here ahead of time? Yeah. How do we know how much it's gonna cost? I said, well, how much do you know it's gonna cost when you go to the dump of the load? You don't. I mean, no one tells you beforehand how much it's gonna be, so I mean, buy a card and, you know. And it just because a card has 20 holes, 20 slots in it, it's worth $200. But if you say I only wanna spend $60 on a card, I'll punch out the first 14 holes, leave you 6. And now it's a $60 card, you can just pay $60 for it. You don't have to spend 200.
Or a contractor can get 5 cards if he wants.
Well, and that's what we're thinking, because I mean, right now, we accept checks from certain companies in the area who use our landfill for bigger items. And we accept a check for $400, $500 every now and again, so now we'll just buy 5 of these cards, 4 of these cards, and take it to the dump.
Anything else? I don't think there's any motions to be made there. Okay, no correspondence?
Yeah, I do have one more question, maybe directed to Ron. I asked that the manhole covers for the sanitary and the roadway be inspected. Is that still on your list to do? Or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Financial year to date. Do we have a motion?
Well,
I'll second that.
Second, thank you. Any questions on our year to date? Water waste. Yes, Richard.
couple, Ron's here. Ron, there's an account called Tile Drainage Expense, PTY to minimum. We budgeted 3,224, nothing was spent. We've budgeted another 3,225, or sorry, 25 and 26. And we spent 3,200. Did the system not get into play, or is this a repetitive expense?
That's an account that I've never charged, that I'm aware of, I've never charged anything to.
That's
I
an
will-
account, I can answer that. That's an account that pays off the tile, drain loan that, we have for, one, farmer. That's the agricultural tile drainage program. And depending on when he pays, it's a timing thing. We send him a bill, he pays it, we remit it to the ministry. We're just kind of a flow through on that.
Or is it our expense, or are we gonna be recovering it?
We recover
We
it.
do,
There's yeah.
I know it, yeah, so we received payment from the gentleman, and we returned payment back to the province.
Okay.
It's min means stands for ministry.
Oh, all right. As long as we're dealing with people that are reputable and honorable and all that sort of stuff. The other item I had is environmental services, and I was quite glad to see that this has worked in our favor, Ron, where we budgeted 1,350,000 in 25. We dropped to 942,900 in 26. And we had only spent 331 of that 1.3 million in 25. And we've only spent 300,000 of that 900 that we budgeted. So it looks as if the environmental, which we were afraid a couple of years ago was going to go right through the roof, has been a fairly successful monitoring.
Anything further? I had one with the library. It was the audit 4,702,000. It's twice the budget for the audit. Is there a reason why that audit is so high?
Price went up, that was the bill we got from KPMG.
That's
Just a
just
library audit, that was the price.
the double them up.
I received the bill, I looked at it, I blinked twice, and I got the check. That's what KPMG charged for the library audit.
They didn't let us any forewarning that it was gonna be doubled up.
And it might represent more than 1 year. I'm not.
That's going to be my question, Mr. Chairman, because we did budget 1,800 in 25, didn't pay it. And then it was 1,800 again in 26, and we paid 39, so that looks like 2 years that were paid in on one shot.
The truth is, Mr. Chair, I don't remember the wording on the bill, so, Mr. Mayor could quite possibly be right that it's a 2-year deal. I just don't remember the bill.
Okay.
Off the top of my head.
Okay. Good. Anything else? Or,
I don't.
okay, we have nothing in camera, can I have an adjournment?
I'll give you that, Dale.
Thank you. And a seconder? Richard? We're adjourned. Thank you.
Good.